Welcome to Ask the Expert with noted radio host Steve Sleeper. Each week, Steve interviews entrepreneurs and professionals and shares their intriguing stories of success and service. Now, here's radio veteran Steve Sleeper.
Our guest today is Fresno personal injury attorney Frank Nunes. Attorney Nunes offers extensive experience representing victims in California personal injury cases. He has the local knowledge and courtroom experience to properly represent you. I began the interview by asking Frank about himself and his business.
Well, I'm a native of the San Joaquin Valley. I was born and raised here in Fresno County. Majority of my family and friends are within Fresno County or very close there too. I grew up on an agricultural farm in a little town called Selma, where we had a vineyard, and it was through agriculture that I earned a scholarship to go to college and eventually to law school. And I've been a practicing attorney since 1995. I started with the Tulare County District Attorney's Office, moved to private practice in Fresno, went back into the public sector for a little bit with the county of Fresno, went to work for a major insurance company defending their drivers who had caused harm to others through their carelessness, and eventually went to a firm that actually represented the insurance company and not the drivers. That firm downsized, and before you know it, I was working for myself, and it's been since August of 2007, and there's been no looking back. It's just been growing by leaps and bounds. And I attribute that to the fact that I really care about the people I work with, and I really want to get to know every single person, client or not, on some individual, personal, connective level.
If I've been in an accident, it's not my fault, okay? Why do I need an attorney?
Every accident is different, but the research done by the people who work for the insurance institutes and the insurance companies shows that people who hire attorneys generally have a higher level of satisfaction with the result than those who don't. Now, that's not an absolute, but as the most part, what matters, what I've discovered matters, is how somebody feels about the resolution of their case. And if they're pleased with the resolution of their case, they feel that the justice system has done them correctly, and they're happy. If they feel they're unpleased with it, the converse is true as well.
So how do I pay for a lawyer in a personal injury case?
Most of the lawyers in personal injury matters handle them on a contingency or a conditional basis. The condition is if the lawyer doesn't win the case for you, the lawyer doesn't get paid for his or her time. This incentivizes or makes the lawyer want to get the best results possible, because what is good for the lawyer is great for the client, because you're getting more recovery for the client and you're getting the full value of the claim.
How do I know if I've got a case?
It's very easy to find out if you got a case, especially here in Fresno. There are many, many practitioners, including myself, that offer free initial consultations. And they will be looking for certain factors on whether somebody was careless and whether somebody caused injury and what type of treatment was received on an injury case. And with that information, they can use that and return the call. Or sometimes I call directly and say, I'd like to meet with you and learn more about your case. And when that happens, then we learn more about the case. You want to take a case that you think you can make the client satisfied or happy on, and you have to be truthful and honest up front. So there's many lawyers in Fresno and other places throughout the state that offer free initial consultations. So it doesn't really cost anything to find out if you have a case.
Frank, let's talk about a scenario here. I'm driving my car. I'm the only guy in the car. And another guy runs a red light and T-bones me. Now, I'm able to get out of the car. I feel okay. Are there some things I should do in a scenario like that?
The first thing you do is make sure that, just as you said, you're physically okay. And don't overestimate that, because there could be injuries that you're just not aware of because of the flight or fight mechanism your body has put yourself into to preserve itself. once you know that you're physically well enough to take notice of your surroundings and what's going on around you and move, then my next recommendation or the next thing to do is contact the other driver, try to keep it non-confrontational if possible, exchange information with that driver. Nowadays, it's very easy. Take a picture of the other driver's license, take a picture of the registration for the other driver's vehicle, and if you can, get a picture of the other driver's automobile insurance card. One of the things a lot of people forget to do is to take a picture of the other driver's car, because later on down the road, if the car that you were driving doesn't have a lot of visible damage, then the insurance company for the other driver is likely to diminish your case or suppress its value. If you show them that their car that hit you has all this damage, you're more likely to reach an equitable settlement sooner.
What do I do if that guy's, the other guy, the at-fault party's insurance adjuster calls me?
Don't talk to anybody from the other side's insurance company until you have talked to your own insurance company, and preferably not until you have consulted with an attorney through one of these free consultations we talked about earlier. Sometimes the person that causes the collision is also insured with the same company in which you have insurance. So both companies the company insures both cars rather. And so you have to be careful who you're talking to. When this happens, you might hear the same insurance company name, but you need to find out who they're representing as the client or the customer, and who they're representing as the claimant. And if they have you down as the claimant, then you don't want to talk to that person typically. You want to talk to your insurance adjuster with the same insurance company that's representing you as the insurer or the customer.
Yeah, that's great advice, Frank. As we do this interview, we're about 5 months into the COVID pandemic. How are you handling that, and how are you meeting with people?
We're taking it seriously. It's not going away. It seems to subside and come back. What we do is we offer many different options depending on the potential client or the existing client's comfort level. Some people are fine coming in without a mask and sitting down. I wear a mask just because I want to make sure that I'm not giving anything to anybody else. It's their option whether they wish to wear a mask. We have clean pens to use. We have clean desks. We have everything sanitized before they come in and when they leave, just like you see in a lot of other places. And everybody gets 2 squirts of hand sanitizer on their hands when they leave, regardless, even me. So that's one of the things we do. Some people, on the other hand, prefer not to come in at all and take the chance. With modern technology and electronic signatures, we can set those things up so they never have to come in. My preference is always to meet with somebody in person. And I think if you're going to have somebody work for you, you want to get a feel for how they are in person as opposed to just by watching them over the video. But if that's not an option, and because somebody might have a condition, immunocompromised, or just a concern, we've adapted. We've set up electronic signatures. We've set up Zoom and Skype meetings. And we've set up language in our documents to allow for electronic signatures. And the courts are even following suit, allowing us to serve some of these documents electronically rather than in person to minimize the risk of spreading COVID.
Are you seeing any delays with claims?
I haven't seen delays with claims on the insurance standpoint yet. There are some issues about civil jury trials. And most of the time, if you have an injury claim, whether it's a car crash or we handle like dog bites and other types of cases, if it gets set for trial, right now the court is so backlogged in California, getting all the criminal trials heard, which take priority over the civil trials, fighting over or arguing over property or money, those cases are getting continued and they're getting postponed. So yeah, the court's in a little bit of a backlog. They're trying to keep as many people out of the court to avoid spreading the contagions as much as possible. So it has slowed things down with the courts, but not necessarily with the claims. If somebody has a first-party claim, which in layman's speak is an uninsured or underinsured motorist claim, there's no impediment to getting that resolved quickly because there's no need to go to court for the most part. Those cases are settling very fast. And or resolving, or having an arbitration and getting resolved. Cases that are going to jury trial are encountering some delays at this time.
Our thanks to attorney Frank Nunes in Fresno, California. He can be reached at 866-753-3145.
Thanks for listening to Ask the Expert with Steve Sleeper. Join us next time as entrepreneurs and professionals share their intriguing stories of success and service.